What's up, everybody? Welcome to Naples Manor. The Manor. Yeah, buddy. Now, for the title of this video, it says Naples Worst Hoods. But let me just clarify, it's just working class, normal people. But, you know, being that it's Naples, there's still a lot of places that are not 100% rich people. Everybody thinks that Naples, Florida is just a bunch of rich people and that everybody in Naples is just balling. Not the case. Now, they've paved the roads here recently and the real estate prices are insanely expensive. So regular working class people have to pay increasingly more money for the same exact housing condition, which means that they have less money for their families. Now, despite being part of the Naples area, incomes in this area called Naples Manor are actually less than $10,000 per capita. Last time they ran the census through. Hopefully next time it'll be a little bit higher than that. I'm not sure. But the last statistics that I could find was $10,000 per capita. Yo. Nice mangoes. Look at the mango trees. Oh yeah, look at the mangoes. So, you just understand, yes, this is part of the Naples area. And yes, real estate here has Naples prices. But the per capita income here is like a seventh of what the average per capita income is in Naples. But you're still paying Naples prices on housing. So I feel like even though it looks nicer now than it did in the past, it's a difficult place for regular working class people who are just trying to make it. And being in Naples, Florida, the worst parts of Naples are probably better than some of the good places somewhere else. So again, all within the context of still being part of Naples. So take it at that with a grain of salt. Yes, it's the hood in Naples, but then again, it's Naples. You know, so just it's like a little bit of everything with that. You can pass. You can go. So a while back, I talked to a police officer here in Naples, and I asked him what area in Naples had the most gangs. And I was expecting Immokalee to be the answer, and he said it was actually Naples Manor. He said there's a lot of gangs here, which caught me off guard. It's not the answer I expected. I know a lot of people on the streets we're on right here. I know a lot of people out here, and they're good, hard-working people. Like everybody thinks. And there's also the other narrative that people say that Naples Manor is just a bad neighborhood. Like they blow it out of proportion. You know, like I know a lot of people who live back here, and they're great family people, hard-working people. So that narrative doesn't exactly fit everything either. That, you know, I think Florida people are great people, man. Like Naples people are good people. Hardest working people you're ever gonna find anywhere in America. I mean, these people here are getting some of the worst incomes in the country and some of the highest real estate prices. And they're still doing what they can to provide for their families. So, you know, we're hard-working people in Florida. We're not lazy. Sometimes I go to other parts of the country and people are complaining about, you know, we got to pay $700 rent. Like, what are you complaining about? You're not going to find a $700 rent here. You're not even going to find a $1,400 rent here. And there's no Toyota here. There's no Mercedes-Benz factory. There's no Toyota factory. There's no Mazda. There's no Honda. There's no Briggs and Stratton. None of that, okay? If you look around, most people here have a truck and trailer. That means they're working for themselves, because if you go work for somebody else, you're not going to even make it out here, you know? Like Florida's minimum wage versus the actual cost of living here, it is just astronomically impossible, really. You know, minimum wage isn't going to get you anywhere here. Like, it's crazy. You know, people really gotta grind out here. Look at the mangoes. I love the mangoes. You really gotta grind out here. It's not an easy mathematical equation to make a living out here. I lived there for 20 years here in Naples, like, where I even had my house paid off in Naples, and it just wasn't right. Like, we're still not living right. Even though our house is paid off, it's kind of ironic. Like, well, if your house is paid off, you're not paying rent, so how can you get outpriced? But the thing about, you know, that in Florida, it's not just the cost of rent or housing. It's also that when you go work for somebody, you don't get paid crap. You know? So being outpriced from housing is a little bit more than just the cost of the housing. It's also, when you start a company, there's 20 other people doing the same thing, and there's always somebody wanting to work for less, and all that just infinitely complicates living in a place like Naples. So I've always said Naples is a great place to live if you have money, but if you're just a regular working class person, it is hard out here. I lived it for 20 years. I lived it for 20 years. 20 years of my life I lived it, you know. It was hard. It's weird to live in just an affluent place and not be able to, like I said, we're hard-working people here. Like, most people here, like, they need to be commended for how hard-working they are, because I feel like a lot of people in the Naples area don't even understand how much of a valiant person they are. Like, I think people here, they just take it for granted, but they don't realize how hard-working people here in Naples. They think that the lives they live are normal, but like, they don't realize how hard life really is and how much of a champion they are at life, because they just automatically assume that it's this hard everywhere, and it's not. You know what I mean? Lots of mangoes in this neighborhood. It's mango season. But like, the people here, they think like it's normal to work this hard, pay this much rent, and get paid so little. Like, we get used to it, you know? And we're really champions of life and we don't even know it. But like, you go somewhere else, like just a little bit, you know, a few states over, and people are paying like $700 rent, making almost twice what you make here, you know, considerably more than you're making here. But this neighborhood's cleaning up. I mean, they paved the roads, the houses, you can tell there's more home ownership than in the past. It's definitely not the same neighborhood of years past. It's cleaned up a lot. Like, this actually looks decent, and that's what happens a lot of times with a lot of the immigrant communities, is that at first they struggle, but then they buy a house, they start fixing it. So like, this neighborhood here, it's mostly Hispanic and Haitian, and it's really like, every time I come in here, it looks better and better, because there are people that little by little are working, making their families' homes better. Like, if you came into this neighborhood 20 years ago, this was a straight up slum. But now, people are paying houses off, fixing them. The palm trees are a little bit taller. You know, the mango trees are a little bit bigger. They painted, stuccoed, cleaned, fixed. This used to be the straight trenches maybe 20 years ago, but it's cleaned up. So, un gran saludo a toda la gente trabajadora de Naples. Sapa C. Everybody, just hard-working people, man. Like, every time you come into this neighborhood, it looks better. You know, like, it used to be a tough place, man, but they just keep making it better. A lot of these houses used to be just vinyl siding, and they put stucco on them, and they, you know, they redo them and make them look a little bit more modern, and next thing you know, it's looking good. Let me say that in Spanish real quick. Hace muchos años este barrio era un barrio muy pobre y las propiedades estaban en mal estado, pero cada vez que tú entras aquí a Naples Manor, se ve mejor. La gente va arreglando las casitas, las matas están un poquito más altas, las matas de mango están más grandes, y cada vez que uno viene aquí se ve mejor el barrio. Este era un barrio que antes tú entrabas aquí y se veía la pobreza, la miseria, pero poquito a poco, porque las cosas no pasan de un día para otro. Okay, that's the house we need to build right there. Look.
Yeah.
That right there? What street are we on? Let's see what street we're on. We can look up and see who built it. We're on Floridian and Hardy. We gotta go. Hardy used to be a bad street, man. Yeah, for sure. But poquito a poco, estos barrios que antes eran barrios malos, se mencionaban como barrios malos. La gente va un poquito a poco arreglando sus propiedades. Mira qué lindas las matas de Coco Van, las matas de Palma. La gente va arreglando, las casitas eran de vinil, le han quitado el vinil, le han puesto tipo las casas, techo nuevo, las matas van creciendo, y poco a poco este barrio, cada vez que tú vienes, se ve un poquito mejor. Y eso es porque la gente latina, los haitianos, mexicanos, Guatemala, cubanos, somos gente trabajadora, que solo que necesitamos es una oportunidad para mejorar nuestras vidas, you know? Y poquito a poco uno va mejorando la vida, y este barrio cada vez que tú entras se ve mejor. Un gran saludo a toda la gente trabajadora. La otra cosa que estaba explicando en inglés es que en este barrio, aquí en Naples, yo viví en Naples 21 años, 22 años viví en Naples, y es un lugar donde la renta es cara, los trabajos pagan muy mal, y uno nunca puede progresar económicamente. Entonces lo que nosotros logramos aquí en Naples, hay que sudarlo 3 veces más duro que en otro lugar. Y nosotros aquí somos, lo que yo digo, campeones de la vida, porque hemos tenido que sudar 3 veces más duro que la demás gente para hacer lo mismo. Lo que en otro lugar se hace más rápido, aquí se hace más lento. Entonces, yo digo, somos campeones de la vida porque hemos hecho con más dificultades, hemos hecho lo que la gente en lugares fáciles no han podido hacer, porque somos gente luchadora. Un gran saludo a toda la gente de Naples, y el barrio, de verdad, cada vez que uno entra aquí se ve mejor. Checking out from Naples, Florida.